to get me through. But so like, you know, dumb films and dumb TV shows. Nothing culturally of note, really.
Hello, welcome to Josie and Robin's Book Shambles Video Extra, our favourite books of January.
God! Please. Oh, I don't need these on.
No, but they make you look great.
Yeah, sorry. We're just working in the studio.
I would say that normally Josie, for instance, wouldn't have a little tissue stuck up her sleeve if she knew she was being filmed.
Well, you say
would
that,
she?
But most of the time when I'm being filmed or photographed, I haven't put any makeup on or brushed my hair. So, very much in keeping.
What is my favourite thing about watching you on panel shows?
That they put horrific amounts of makeup on me. Because I say to them, I don't really like wearing makeup. I don't really wear very much unless I'm at a party. And they go, that's fine. We'll just put some purple right up here. And like, oh my God.
Thanks very much for the rainbow eyelids.
But luckily, no one books me anymore, so it's fine.
So, we're just going to quickly go through things we've been reading in January.
Yeah, but I brought my books in. You didn't bring... Okay.
Oh, I think you'll find this bag's got a bit of January in it. Oh, I don't know who Ring of Roses are, and they're not our sponsor, so there we go, I'll cover that up. Right. Every now and again, you can tell bags that are things that my wife got, and bags from mine. Oxfam and Book and Music Exchange. So, your first book of January?
This is something I was in America, no big deal. I bring it up, and doing some gigs, and there's a new bookshop opened in Cobble Hill in Brooklyn, which is called Books and Magic, and it was one of those bookshops that it was so thoughtfully laid out that you felt like you wanted to read everything straight away exactly as it was, and it had it had a God, disgusting, I hate.
Just so you know, everyone, Josie has a special kind of positive illness, don't you?
Sure.
It's out now, isn't it?
I'm pregnant.
Yeah, that's what I meant by
Yeah, which means you can't have fucking Lemsip. Did you know that? You can't even have a fucking Lemsip.
Bleep this. This is not what we want for the video version.
No, people need to know the truth. You can't even have a Lemsip. And people don't realise how intense it is. Today, I was waiting for the tube, and there were 2 tubes went past that were too full. And there was this man in front of me, and he just made no concession to the fact that I am pregnant. And it's like, and it was so frustrating, because I wanted to be like, you don't realise that this is like a whole extra thing on top of everything else.
Have you not got the badge yet?
Oh, I have the badge, but he just didn't. It was almost like he'd been like, well, you think you're so special. I was like,
I'm just worried about your child now. Where every time I visit your child, I go, oh, no, I've got another cold. But mother goes, no Lemsip for you. You don't know what those 9 months were like.
Yes, you don't get it.
Yes, little drippy tissues up every single sleeve.
Do you know, you can have 2 paracetamol. That's all you can have. Anyway, we're in this shop called Books and Magic, and it was just such a beautiful independent bookstore, the sort of thing that had loads of events, like they had John Danielle coming to read and like amazing things going on, and it was so well laid out, and I just ended up like spending all my Christmas money because I was like this is a series called The Last Interview, which I bought one with Kurt Vonnegut, obviously.
Philip K. Dick was one of those, I think. I remember, yeah.
It's interesting what I chose. I don't think I even saw that Philip K. Dick had one, but it might have not fitted with their curated presentation. But I bought this Nora Ephron one because I was really interested in hearing her talk about screenwriting and that kind of thing. And it's what's really cool is it's 4 different interviews. So there's one from when she was really like before she was a screenwriter, when she was just a journalist in 1974. Then there's one a bit later on from kind of when she was in the middle of screenwriting, and then 2 later on ones, and I'm only halfway through it. But it's really interesting because I don't normally read long form interviews, and so I'm like trying to see what I can underline, and it's really, really utterly receptive to it. But what's more interesting is thinking like, wow, things have really changed since 1974, in the first one. So then, this was my first... Oh, sorry. Yeah. Can you edit out me burping?
No. We can bleep it out, and they'll just at least think you were just swearing. Yeah. I'll go for it because actually I was in Toronto doing some gigs. No biggie. And
that's why you become a comedian, is because travelling is very exciting and is a brilliant perk of being a comedian. It's the best thing.
I had to get up 5 times at 4 a.m. in January. That is not why I went into show business, but it was fun. But I went to a comic shop in whose name I forget, but we'll put under the description of this. And it was brilliant. Again, when you talk about really well laid out, just really high shelves, mixed up everywhere, old stuff, new stuff. And I've only just started reading Will Eisner.
Oh wow!
And I know that I should. We talk about this on the Stuart Lee thing as well, which is Signal from Space, which was is a brilliant comic strip series, basically about a signal that's been picked up from space. And then it's all about the skullduggery and the cults and the political shenanigans. And unfortunately, it is as contemporary now as it was before. But yeah, Will Eisner's Signal from Space, and it was a brilliant comic shop in Toronto.
Wow!
And it's because I didn't. Have you read any Will Eisner?
Yeah, I'm trying to think what I have read now. Because
Contract with God?
No.
Oh, that's great. Contract with God.
Because I interviewed Jeffrey Lewis about 11 years ago. It was like the first interview I'd ever done with anyone. And he's such a hero of mine. And I just wanted to ask him about comic books he liked. But I was so nervous that most of my questions were like, do you like comic books? And Will Eisner was one of the people that he told me about. So then obviously straight afterwards I went and was like, I read everything he said.
Contract with God's great. I like thinking of Jeffrey, comic book Jeffries. Isn't it lovely that all the kids are into Jeffrey Brown now because of the Star Wars comic strips he does? Do you know those?
Yeah.
My son loves them.
Oh, literal kids as well.
Yeah,
not
proper. Yeah. So it's not just adults being ironic or anything like that, and any of those things. No.
But also what's nice is when he's about 13, 14, he can graduate onto Jeffrey Brown's early sexy comics.
Yeah, well, we'll just see. I'm still keeping them hidden behind another selection of books at the moment.
Because otherwise he'll be like, I like Jeffrey. Oh, I'm sorry, what?
Also, it's that worry that eventually you're going to go, you won't believe some of the books my dad's got.
Well, I was really thinking about this the other day because I've got a lot of books I love. I can't help myself. I just love to if something looks interesting, I just feel like, I must have it. And then if I've got it, even if I'm a little bit ambivalent, I'll be like, I must keep it because it's, And I was thinking, God, there's a lot of my books that, my child shouldn't read until they're an adult. And if they found and just leaf through at 11 or 12 could potentially be really weird or alienating or upsetting for them. And then I was like, what am I going to... How do you deal with that? Just get one locked. But if you have a locked cabinet,
but then
that's
that makes it. Then it
magnet.
becomes taboo, doesn't it? Then it becomes these are the things Mother never wanted me to see.
But then you don't want to lay out Lost Girls on the coffee table.
Don't lay it out. Just keep it on a high-ish shelf, and one day they find it. But neither lay it out in front of them nor lock it in a box.
Okay.
Just make Alan Moore and Melinda Gibbons work as natural as possible for them.
2 minutes.
Right, 2 minutes left.
This was my first book of 2018. Absolute friend and favourite of the podcast, Nikesh Shukla. It's his now third or fourth novel. God, what is wrong with my brain? I think it's his third novel, but he's also got a young adult novel coming out almost simultaneously. And this, what's really exciting is it's been really a thrill to see the scope of his work expanding. This is a 3-generational epic, which is 4 different books basically. It's 4 different stories that all weave together, and it's brilliant. I loved it.
And also,
you can see
you must
all
be
the
in show business. It's not even a proper copy, is it? It's a special proof.
Sorry, but yeah, every other page I've sort of turned down
Nibbled
the corner
a little bit because it's one of your one
but
of the urges that's coming. I keep eating my own books.
Also, what was really, really fun for me and interesting for me was a whole quarter of this book is about a stand-up comedian. And what I loved, because I remember when I was about 20, I read a book called Don't Read This Book If You're Stupid.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a story about stand-up comedian that pissed me off so much because
Tybal Fisher.
Yeah. It was from the first person perspective, and it was making out he knew about stand-up. And even then, with my 3 years or whatever experience of stand-up, I was like, this is wrong, this is nothing like stand-up. And what I really loved about the stand-up part of this was he really was very, very thoughtful in his approach to writing it. He writes most of them are from the first person perspective, and this one is from all the other people's interactions with that stand-up, because the stand-up is like very insecure and doesn't trust themselves and doesn't know themselves, and you see their routines kind of in little bite-sized chunks from the outside, and I just thought it was so well written, and also quite rare, like as a stand-up, to read something about stand-up and not like, because I'm sick of like TV shows about stand-ups or any sort of fiction about stand-up, because I'm like, we're not that interesting.
Oh,
like,
I don't know.
do
The
stuff about
marvelous
vets.
Mrs. Maisel's great, but I know what
I've
you
heard
mean.
that's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
good. But then
I love
also,
the idea that someone might read Emile Zola's The Beast in Man and goes, as a steam train driver,
it's nothing like
as a steam
tracks.
engine driver, this is not how my life is at all. So though I found the psychopathic story intriguing in its own way, I kept thinking, hang on a minute, that's not how a steam engine driver is.
you would, and also, you know, with stand-up, that is my art, that's my vocation, so I take it very, very seriously and stuff. But also,
We've
what's
run
really
out of
great,
time.
No, there's a really brilliant.
We have,
bit.
though, 'cause the thing
let
runs
me
out.
finish. There's a really brilliant.
It's not
bit.
about you
Shut up.
finishing, it's that the machine
It's
stops.
not finished. There's a really brilliant bit about Have I Got News for You, or a similar show to Have I Got News for You, which is and about this racist encounter in it, and it's so chilling and scary and brilliantly written. Anyway, I loved reading this book, and I was very excited that I know somebody who's written something of this scope. So there you go. Thank you.
We can do a second one.
No point in me bringing all these, was there?
I'm sorry I told you to shut up, but I was too excited. Shut up!